because we wanted to make sure we represented them well in the community. But we won 2 national campaign awards from the food industry for this cause-related marketing program, the CSR program. One of the parts of it was called Reaching Your Dreams. In New York City, there's an incredible dropout rate. It's like 54%, 56%, believe it or not. And it's because of the inner city, it's because of the Hispanic community, the Korean community that moves in, and they just drop out of school. So what we wanted to do was to convince students to stay in school. And what we did, we started a mentoring program. We would go into the Bronx, and we would find a mentor. We would find someone that came out of that was a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a politician, that had their butts in those same chairs as a student in that school to get up there and say, education was my way out. And so we started this mentoring program, and we were able to go into 42 schools since 2005. After it went well beyond that, we probably hit 100,000 students to try to convince them to stay in school. This was our brand, Reaching Our Dreams. That was our logo. I actually got a phone call one Sunday evening that I was called by the program, these people that actually ran it for us. We didn't physically run it. What I did is I found an organization, a nonprofit organization called Save Latin America. I had them execute the program. So as a CSR, I just managed who was doing the work, and I vetted them and made sure that they delivered to the people that needed it the most, the students. So I get a phone call, and it's from Save Latin America. It says, there's a meeting tomorrow with Mayor Bloomberg. He wants to talk about the Reaching Our Dreams program. And I said, sure. So he says, meet me at 72nd Street and West End Avenue. So I'm thinking, there's no big venue there. I'm thinking there's got to be a couple hundred people. Got to have a room like this at least. It was a diner. I sat down at a diner having toast and coffee with Mayor Bloomberg. And he said, the reason I stayed for my 3rd term in New York City, I wasn't done with my educational initiative. How can we expand the Reaching Our Dreams program? I said, it's easy. Give me more money. You got lots of it. And we can execute it across there. But this was one of the programs that we ran through our CSR, but we created that logo and that brand, and we promoted it out there. Another program that we did was the Family Health Festival. So this is Colgate. Colgate has a Bright Smiles program. So I got Colgate to go around the city and give free checkups to students that couldn't afford going to the dentist. We went out and we would do up to 20 health screenings at these family festivals. We'd have doctors volunteer. We had to pay some of them, but we would do diabetes checkup, prostate exams, mammograms, hearing, eye tests, you name it. We did 20 for the entire family for free. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But it was a great execution of that. Again, the Family Health Festival, that was our brand. That was our logo that we created under our CSR. Why was that important? Because we were going to put Colgate's brand next to that brand. That was the equity that Colgate was going to get for giving me $100,000 a year to be part of the Good Neighbor program. That's how I was going to spend their money. Another program that I came up with was the Children's Health Festival. We would do these outside, and those numbers are right, 2.1 million attendees. I would close down 16 city blocks in Washington Heights, in New York City, close it down. And I would have pony rides for the kids. I would have everything. Now, the money that I got for people participating in it, I took that money and I went to the Dominican Republic. Why in the Dominican Republic? Well, Washington Heights is very much a Dominican community in New York City, for those that you know New York City. A lot of the owners of the supermarkets that we service were Dominican. So do we connect to that neighborhood for them to recognize? So we went down to Haina in the Dominican Republic. We built a school. We built a playground. The other thing that we did is there's a serious lead paint issue in the Dominican Republic. A lot of children are born and are poisoned by lead. It's like the worst in the world. I think it might be, I think it's number 1. So what we did is we got lead blockers as a prenatal supplement to give to pregnant women in DR and also in Haiti. And just to reduce and have the opportunity for these children to be born without lead poisoning. So I would go down to the Dominican Republic and make sure that this product was able to get to the end users. So that was another part of the Good Neighbor program. Here's another one. Very big program. I'm sure everybody, this is a global organization, Susan G. Komen, for the cure to run breast cancer out of town. Now, what was good with Susan G. Komen is that there were many companies giving them a lot more money than I was giving them. But what I had was, I had 1 million print advertisers a week that I used to buy in New York City. So I used to send out supermarket circulars. What did I put in it? I used to put ads for Susan G. Komen in there. I put public service announcements. Why did I get involved with that? Well, Hispanic women have a very low incidence of breast cancer, but they have a higher death rate. You know why? And you're looking at me. They didn't know how to test themselves. So by the time they found out they had breast cancer, it was usually stage 4. It was usually very late. So that's the reason we got involved in doing that. So we used to sponsor the race. We used to sponsor testing out into the inner city as well. I had baseball teams that we supported for youth sports to keep them off the streets. I mean, that's Mariano Rivera. I don't know if anybody knows about Yankee baseball, but that's one of the best pitchers of all time. He's an incredible human being. He would come and show up at the games. I started a basketball program with a Hall of Fame coach. I used to put out magazines talking about Caribbean culture, Black History Month, the holidays, Hispanic Heritage Month. And in all of these magazines, I used to promote all of those 20 brands. They would have their brand inside there, connecting to the community with a good cause. That was the value proposition for them. I started a Good Neighbor Give Thanks dinner that we would give people turkeys for free, a holiday meal around Thanksgiving in the United States. That was, what a pleasure it was doing that. I started a literary center with Smuckers in the Bronx in one of the very, very poor schools that they supported. How did I communicate this? We told the world what we were doing. I created a website. Originally, we did the website for our sponsors, all the brands, to let them know what was going on with their money. We let them know. Why? Because every year I was coming back asking for money. It got to the point they said, Dan, we don't want to go to the meeting. You're doing a great job. You're bombarding us with information on what you're doing with the money. Here's the check. I said, nope. Nope, nope, nope. I said, you have to show up to the meeting. I want you to see what we're doing, and I need you involved even more. So we had a lot of communication. It was very important to connect to the CSR program with the people that were funding it. That was the Good Neighbor program. Visions of social enterprise. This guy is Bill Drayton. He has this organization called OSHCA. Social enterprise is not content to just give a fish or teach how to fish. They will not rest until they have revolutionized the fishing industry. India's place in the sun would come from partnership between the wisdom of its rural people and the skills of its professionals. Everybody know who he is? What did he do? What did he do? What, he took India from being a country that had to import milk to becoming a country that produces more than enough milk. And who did he empower? Who? Ah, there we go. Okay? Amazing. Amazing. From going where you had to, starting these cooperatives, amazing what he was able to do. This woman here, Jacqueline, very successful woman in financial world. She started microfinancing opportunities as her social enterprise. I don't have to say any more. Okay? Bill Gates. Our advantages are not in the discoveries, but it's how we use our new technology. Sometimes we might be working for a technology company. We might be involved in that. What betterment can we do with that? How can we use social media to keep people informed of what's going on out there in a social enterprise format? How about this individual? Another microfinancing person, right? He did an incredible job. But charity is no solution to poverty. It's not. It's not. It will actually keep the poor poor. We have to change this mindset. I said we have to take, you've got to give the poor an initiative to move out. If you keep on giving, they just keep on receiving. And this beautiful woman, who I actually met, and Bonnie actually uses this on her site, right? It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. Do it because you want to in your social enterprise. Don't do it because you have to, because it's meaningless. Do it because you want to. Those are the visions. What's a charity or an NGO? It's an organization that relies upon other people to sustain it. It has good social good, but it needs money to sustain itself. It's not going to do it on its own. Plan India. What is social enterprise? It's an organization that sustains itself to keep it going. It can make money, but the money goes back into it in order to sustain itself. What's a CSR program? Unilever has one here in India. Has anybody ever heard of this program?
Yeah, it's in the rural area.
It's in the rural area. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But they just won the 2015 Business for Peace Award. And that refers to a business practice that involves participating in that benefits society, but they put sustainability into the core of their business operations. So I'm going to show you when we get to the slide on Univita, how much money they made off of this program, although it's a great social program, right? I'm going to show you what the tangibles and the intangibles of this program are. It's pretty amazing. Today, CSR is mandatory in your businesses, especially in India because you have that 2% deal, right? So, but in the United States, we don't have that. But it is not an option in the United States. Good companies have good CSR programs. There's a lot of reasons for it. Number one, we have income inequality going on. It continues to get bigger. We have conflicts globally that everybody's aware of, whether it's ISIS, whether we have the problems in the Ukraine, whether we have problems in Malaysia, whether we have problems in the United States with the, right now with the black environment in the inner cities. We have conflicts. Disease. Ebola. That doctor came back to New York City and he went on the B train. I ride the B train every day, holding onto that pole. I wonder, did he hold onto that pole? Okay? It came home. Ebola was not something in Africa anymore. It's affecting us globally. Environment. Global warming. This was a tsunami in Sri Lanka. Sustainable CSR is vital to your business success. It's more than a recycling program, a green program. It's much more than that. It is actually worth billions of dollars to corporations to integrate it into their business. That's what sustainable CSR is today. Those are what the programs are. So it's no longer an optional, a nice to have in your company. Hey, let's do a social program. Let's align ourselves with a nonprofit or a social enterprise. Not anymore. The Reputation Institute had come out just recently with this report in Forbes magazine where it was interviewed. It says, so, should companies invest their money in CSR? The answer is yes. We see that from the study that for every 5 points you improve your CSR perception, the perception is to your customers and their customers, your company will be recommended 9% more. It's a good investment. 59% of consumers will go out of their way to do business with a company that has CSR. And that's not just somebody buying a retail product. That's also people that are buying B2B. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. That's compared to only 23% for companies who do not have a good CSR. But companies are not getting their return on the investment because they have not developed enough strong systems to do the following. Communicate. When you have a good CSR program, it is okay to do this. Pat yourself on the back and tell people you have a good one. You have to do that. Measure. Most of the times we look at CSR outside the corporate structure of profitability. Oh yeah, we're spending on CSR. You should be earning on CSR. That's the dynamic shift in CSR today. And you have to influence your stakeholders. And that could be all of your associates, all of your customers, all of your suppliers. They're all stakeholders in this. This leaves too many companies acting on feelings rather than facts when they establish and run their CSR programs. The study also said 73% of consumers across the largest 15 markets in the world are willing to recommend companies they perceived to operate on a good CSR program. That is huge. That is a huge number. The problem is only 5% of the companies that are doing CSR are perceived to be doing a good job. 5%. Now, if I own a company and I just looked at this, I got to look at and do some belly gazing. I got to look at my CSR and go, am I one of the 95%?